back to the 3x5 Live
podcast.
We are live at the beach for Labor Day weekend.
Yes, we are.
Am I supposed to
Actually
say
feels
that?
like fall.
I don't know if I'm supposed to say that.
Why?
I don't know. Then they know it's not like a live recorded podcast.
Do they think it's a live recorded?
No, they don't. Not at all. All right. Last week we talked about your career and your lifestyle and choosing your lifestyle before your career and crafting your career to meet your lifestyle. That was a lot of words.
That was a lot of words. You said lifestyle a lot. But our goal for that process, and something that we talk about a lot, is that self-awareness, self-actualization. You know, last week we talked a lot about job crafting or crafting something based on your strengths and what you would like to strive your life to look like. And one of those words that popped up, I think, was the word passion, which we talk about quite a bit here. I think I mentioned that my favorite definition of passion is that self-actualization process of where you become that best version of self. Mm-hmm. And then once you reach that, and let's be honest, you never actually reach that because we're always growing and changing. But once you feel really confident in that, then it equips us with the ability to contribute to others and kind of pour outward. And so a word that Bryan and I throw around and something that we think about quite a bit is legacy. Mm-hmm. And so I'll let Bryan talk a little bit about that.
And so I was asked on a podcast interview probably 6 months ago, is like, what's your legacy? And I think legacy is BS in some regards because like I just picture these old dudes sitting around a campfire smoking a cigar thinking about like their glory days and the legacy they built, which I really think you should flip that. And when we say legacy habits, like what habits are you doing today that's building your legacy? So, if I meet somebody for the first time randomly on the street and we hit it off and we have a great conversation, I just created my legacy with that person. If I never see them again, but they know who I am, they're going to be like, oh, this is what Bryan McFarland is, because in that moment, I'm creating my legacy in their mind. I'm imprinting it in their mind. And a common practice that a lot of people do is like write your eulogy. And I've done that in the past with different development programs. But another one that I think is even more powerful is, laying on your deathbed and seeing this like glowing person walk into your room that's just vibrant and full of energy, and then you realize that that's the best version of you, and that's like the heaven or hell, like that's hell, realizing that that's what you could have become. So if we rewind that to today, Brian Johnson over the Optimize group, he always says today is the day. Today is the day, and today we can create our legacy habits, and today we can change things to form our legacy and imprint those impressions in other people's minds of the type of person you want to be.
I want you to unpack a little bit that visual, like that visual of that person walking in, like because I was listening to you and we've talked about this before, but that person would be who you could have become.
Yes. So
is the idea to like really become clear on what that person would be and what they embody mm-hmm. and what they're about. Yep. And then you try to set those habits in order to meet that so that you don't have that regret at the end.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Like you were saying earlier about like the best version of yourself. I mean, it's become cliche.
I know.
That term. No, but it's a very powerful term. But it's like, how do you do that?
Right.
Well, the only way you can do that is through your, what I call legacy habits.
Yeah.
Another big phrase Brendan Burchard always says is bring the joy, mm-hmm. bring in, and you yell at me because I say that all the time and you're like, Bryan, you're not bringing the joy right now.
I don't yell at you. I hold you accountable.
Yes, you hold me accountable, which I should be held accountable. Yes. But it's those micro moments of, there's another trick that he does is like when he walks into the door, like he's just like every doorway he walks through, he's like, bring the joy, and that's just, you're walking into a board meeting or into a meeting with a colleague or into a Starbucks or whatever. And that doorway signifies to him of like, how am I going to live right now? Mm-hmm. Presently.
This is such an interesting topic too, because I think I do a really good job of staying in the moment, like being present and like not thinking too like forward thinking, because it like, not that it frightens me, but this is like a safer space for me. Mm-hmm. But I think what legacy does is it allows you to envision and set those specific intentions to get you to that place that you want to become. And I love that so much. And this just reminds me of a conversation that we were talking about on the way down here. Bri was talking about, somebody who had set this example where they were thinking right now when their children were little about creating a practice where they were introducing something that would benefit them financially in the future.
Yep.
And this is a perfect example. I don't know if you wanted to share like what that was, but I thought what a great example of creating that legacy of I want them to know the power of financial freedom and creating habits that help to like create. So you're doing something now, you're planting a seed that hopefully will grow into that shade that you can sit under as an adult, right? Like your children's big tree that they've produced, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, what she's talking about, and this, take it for what it's worth, please, is there's a guy that has a very, very popular podcast, and he's all into real estate. He's a very successful real estate guy. And so it means a lot to him, the power of real estate. So instead of contributing to his kids' their college 529 plan, he has very young kids. He's buying them each property on a 15-year mortgage. So by the time they're at college age, that house will be paid off. There's obviously, money's coming from that asset. So then they can sell that house and then fund their college, or sell that house and start a business. And he's doing that instead of just contributing to the 529 plan, so they can see the power of real estate and what real estate can do for them. So that's a great example, Jesse, of just
your passion. Yeah, that's what he's passionate about.
Yeah, that's what he's passionate about. But he's instilling this future legacy because he believes so much in real estate. It doesn't have to be real estate, obviously,
right, it could be
anything. But he's living intentionally through doing that act.
And I think there's nothing more powerful than sharing your passions with your children, because when we live within our passions, that light is so bright for our kids, and then it gives them permission to find their passions and do the same thing. So anyway, it clicked when you were talking about it that was a really good example of legacy. And how are you setting those intentions, those seeds now that could blossom into something really cool later on? Right.
And also in my mind, when you connect legacy in front of habits, it makes the word habit that much stronger. It really just is like, I'm not just doing this to like lose a few pounds or whatever. I'm creating my legacy by doing this habit. And I think that just the words are powerful. And I think when we get really intentional with how we use them and how they leave impressions in our mind, that's when the actions can become that much stronger.
So let's get really clear about some of those legacy habits. I feel like this is work that I need to do for sure. Like I said, I tend to stay in the today's the day and we're staying here. But I think it's really, really powerful to look ahead and, we have 2 little ones. And so what am I doing to contribute to that legacy and to create these habits that our kids can see and then grow into as well?
Yeah. And mapping out what the best version of yourself is. Okay, this is the best version of myself. So what habits do I need to instill to create the best version of myself? So
who's that person?
Who is that person?
That glowing person walking into your hospital room. All right. Take care, everyone.
Until next week.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Hello world, wake me up to another good morning. Time to go. Oh, we are all